I can't stand personal politics and the way that the climate is nowadays with movies. It sickens me. It really irritates me. Like, you've got the, you've got people on two different sides here constantly bitching and moaning about things that are either irrelevant or pointless or stupid or in some cases just they're never happy. They're never satisfied. Now, I'm going to clarify some things before I go into this rant. I'm all for equality. I am, and I've said it before. I think that everybody as a human being should be treated equally. We should all have equal rights. Men, women, different ethnicities. We should all have equal rights. But man, complaining about this kind of shit every time a big movie comes out is really, really annoying. And it's not one particular group, because what will happen is you'll have SJWs claim it's the alt-right, you'll have the alt-right claim it's, liberal SJWs, and really it could be some of those people, right? But it's not fair to generalize everybody who's on one side in one group. But man, is it annoying. And I'm going to use a couple of examples here. So when Avengers Endgame came out, and I'm not really going to go into... Okay, I have to be careful here because I don't want to go into heavy spoilers, but there's a very light spoiler here for Endgame. Very light. Okay, so don't worry about it. I wouldn't worry too much, but an article came out after the movie came out, and again, this happens after every Marvel movie, saying that Avengers Endgame is too male heavy, that it's too many men in the film, despite the movie having a very powerful scene with a bunch of women helping out Captain Marvel. Despite having women that don't normally fight in this film, despite having an incredible character arc with Black Widow, and again, these are light spoilers, she has an incredible character arc, despite all this great writing that they did for these characters that are women, these powerful women, despite making Captain Marvel so powerful, you still got people writing articles about how the MCU, the Endgame is too male heavy. And it's just disgusting to me. Avengers Endgame is too male heavy. Well, it could have something to do with the fact that this is the climax of the Infinity Saga, and most of the main Avengers are male, and because of that, they had to finish off storylines that were started all the way back in 2008. So introducing a bunch of women here in this movie and just having them on equal footing with the original Avengers doesn't work. And like I said, Black Widow herself, who is one of the original 6 Avengers, gets a character arc. But they're complaining that there's not enough women in this movie. Shut the fuck up. It's every movie. It's every damn movie. Black Panther comes out and someone complains about there's not enough gay characters in the movie. There's always somebody complaining about something. And I understand people want representation. I get it. I understand that. I understand it. But representation in every single film? I'm a Hispanic male. I grew up with movies where you have black main characters, white main characters, and Hispanic main characters. I never complained about superheroes being too white. I grew up with Superman, Batman, they're both white guys, even though one's an alien. Representative of a white guy. Never complained. Never. It's just, I never think about things like that. It's just entertainment, and you had, in Endgame, all kinds of different ethnicities, all kinds of different genders. And like I said, women who don't normally fight, you know who I'm talking about, if you saw the movie, doing some kick-ass stuff. And we still get complaints. Not enough women. It's not about the women. That story is about the original. Avengers Endgame paid tribute to the original 6 Avengers. That movie was their swan song. That movie's their big climactic finale. The original 6 Avengers that really put the MCU on a new level, right? On a brand new level, high up. Elevated the entire franchise back in 2012 with Joss Whedon's Avengers. And they want more women to be shoehorned in. Like, do you understand that if they shoehorn in more women to that story, it's just going to be pointless pandering? I mean, is that what you want? Do you want to be pandered to? Do you want these studios to say, oh, we can make money off of these radical feminists, so let's put more women in there? You already got Captain Marvel. And you're going to have more in the future probably. There may be an A-Squad movie, but why do we have to shoehorn in women to the story of the original 6 Avengers? It's sickening to me. Like, they got to get over themselves. So in my opinion, that article, whenever you're on the internet and you see stuff like that, just don't click it. Don't give them the clicks. They're obviously trying to get controversial clicks. They're trying to get people to get pissed off at them purposely. And they're trying to push a dumb agenda that has no purpose at all. I understand wanting more women in the MCU, but why does it have to be this movie when it's not about the women? This movie's about the original 6 Avengers. 5 men, 1 woman. And that woman had a great arc. And other women in the movie had great arcs and great moments too. It's a stupid complaint. I'm sorry. It's dumb. It is not of intellect. It's not of logic. Then you've got Mark Hamill on Twitter, who is known to be a liberal guy. I've never met Mark Hamill, but I always wanted to. Definitely one of my childhood heroes. And he posts up a picture of himself, Billy D. Williams, Harrison Ford, and Carrie Fisher. And it's them together in one scene. And he says, man, what could, missed opportunities. And what he's basically saying is he wishes that they could have had a reunion with the original main cast. Luke, Han, Leia, Lando. Guess what? 95% of Star Wars fans, including ones that like The Last Jedi, would have probably agreed with him and said, man, wouldn't it have been cool if we at least got one scene with Harrison, Mark, Carrie, and Billy D? And we all agree that would have been great. And we can't even get that anymore because Carrie Fisher really passed away. So he posts this image, and I'm like, yeah, like, this guy's still mad about Last Jedi. He's still, speaking up on it. Screw the system. Screw him being quiet. Let him speak his mind about that crap movie and the crap writing in the sequel trilogy. Right? Then he gets attacked on Twitter. He gets attacked on Twitter from people, and it's not even like a logical attack. You can't even let the man speak on what he wants without people attacking him, saying, oh, well, this image is an alt-right. I saw one guy say, this is from an alt-right group. Who cares? Who cares what group it's from? It's an image that was made to represent what Mark Hamill wants. I don't care if it's from a right, left, up, down. It doesn't matter where it's from. God, I hate politics in movies and in the movie culture. It's sickening to me. I'm sorry, but I do. And Mark Hamill's getting attacked even by people at Lucasfilm who are being sarcastic. And other people are chiming in, agreeing with him, and others are just saying, it's not your movie and this and that. Like, you don't think he knows that? He's been complaining about how they wrote Luke Skywalker for like 2 years. This is before Last Jedi even came out. Let the man complain. You would think that if it wasn't for him, many of us wouldn't be Star Wars fans. Him and everybody else from the original trilogy. Half the guys at Lucasfilm wouldn't even have jobs if it wasn't for Mark Hamill and that original crew that existed before they even were born in some cases. And they're sitting there fighting, like shut up. Yeah, you can have an opinion. But to attack this man, it's disgusting. Let the guy have an opinion about a movie. And David Stewart on his channel made a really good point about how it has nothing to do with right, left, or anything. It has to do with the characters. And I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. Rey, Poe Dameron, Finn, Kylo Ren, they're not over. They're not popular on the level of Luke, Han, Leia, Vader. It's just, they're not. Maybe someday they will be. I don't think so. I think that ship has sailed. I think they can be somewhat popular. They're never going to be on that level. Those characters are too iconic. They're too well written. We had a great time with those characters in the original Star Wars trilogy. And that's what makes them so special. It has nothing to do with their gender, their ethnicity. Nothing to do with that. Their sexuality, in some cases, with them trying to make Lando Pando Calrissian. Nothing to do with that. It has to do with how well they were written and how we love them. We love all those characters. And the dude gets attacked. And it's just like everything that comes out about a movie has to be, well, good movie, but why didn't you have this? Why didn't you have a representation of this and that? And it's just, and I feel like someday we're going to get a film that represents everybody, and it's going to be absolutely terrible. It's going to be a horrible movie with shoehorned in, political lines and SJW propaganda and anti-SJW propaganda in the same movie. And I'm just sick of it. Can't these freaking filmmakers just tell a story now? Can they not just tell a damn story without having, a proverbial gun to their head saying, make sure you include this in there and that in there? Like, there's a checkbox they have to check off. It's dumb. Just let them tell the damn story. You know, and yes, I do agree that we need to have representation behind the scenes even more so than on screen. I think we need to have, you know, different directors, different writers. I think we need to have different ethnicities represented behind the scenes so that they can tell the story properly when it comes to representation. That I do agree with, and it should be that case. But if James Gunn wants to tell a great story with Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and, you know, Susan whatever, I don't know, keeps complaining to him that Gamora should have a bigger role, but that's not her role in the story. And there's no disrespect to these characters or Nebula or whoever. It's just not what's being written for them. And let the guys write that. They get paid to do that. They, in many cases, especially with the MCU, they've delivered on many of their promises, if not almost all of them. They've delivered on great film after great film after great film. Let them tell the damn story. I'm sorry, but I don't think including a certain character because you want him to be there is going to change the quality of the story. Unless you create some kind of compelling character, in which case you should be a filmmaker. I just feel like you should let these guys, every movie that comes out, dude, every single big movie, there's going to be an article on Huffington Post or one of these websites, clickbait, of course, don't fall for it, it's all clickbait, complaining about why is this not in the film, and nobody gives a damn. In the real world, nobody gives a fuck. These movies are still going to make money, people are still going to go see them, regardless of whether or not it has A, B, and C in it, because some jack off on the internet wants her to be. That's my little rant. Man, I really hope that we move past this. But the best thing to do as a society is just ignore social media. Ignore these people. They don't deserve the platform to be. They really don't. I'm making this video without even actually linking anybody or talking about any specific, you know, website or anything. Even though I did mention Huffington Post. I'm not a fan of theirs at all. But you see what I'm saying? Ignore them because they're trying to rob people up on both sides. It's on both sides. You know, if they had too many women in the movie in Endgame, you would have had the anti-SJWs talk about, oh, look at this, they're pandering to women, you know, they hate men. It's just endless on both sides. It's endless every movie. Let them make the damn movies. Like when we were kids. Let's go back to that. It would just make movies more fun, in my opinion.